Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're doing great and hope you're doing fantastic. Your friend Dean Kulaweera here every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. I'm right here to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, and strategy. So make sure you mark your calendars every Wednesday, 11 a.m. I'm going to be right here, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. I'm going to be right here to help you out with that, all right? So don't be shy. Feel free to introduce yourself in the comments. Let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. And today's topic, folks, look, I saw this trending topic on LinkedIn about companies, these major companies, right? Like these are not like, I mean, I'm sure there's probably some smaller size, lesser known companies doing this as well. But I mean, some pretty well-known brands out there, right? Coinbase, Netflix, PayPal, Twitter. And for those of you who follow me on social media, you probably saw my quick video clip that I posted yesterday, where I spoke about this topic and I provided some brief thoughts about how job seekers need to handle this. But I wanted to kind of dive a little deeper into it and cover this topic in a bit more detail, because I know some of you have been reaching out to me and with a bit of concern about how do you deal with these situations, right? Where a company provides you with an offer. You're all set up, you've arranged things at your end, you've reorganized things at your end, you're prepared to get started with this company, and then the last thing you need is to have to deal with these situations where maybe they halt the recruitment process, they slow it down, or they completely rescind the offer, meaning they take back the offer, they cancel the offer, they have some kind of changes going on at their end where they have to kind of unfortunately they can't move ahead with the offer, right? So let's see. We got some comments here. We got Lasan in the house from Canada. Good to see you here, Lasan. Thanks so much. We got Dina. Wow, long time, Dina. Long time. Hello from Mauritius. Oh, so you're in Mauritius now. Good to have you here, Dina. And thanks so much for tuning in. And I hope you're doing great as well. We got my brother, Raphael in the house, who says, Dean, what's up, brother? Hey, Raphael, always good to see you here. And thanks so much for tuning in. Always great. Love seeing you in the comments there. So for those of you also, before I get into today's topic, don't forget, folks, to hit like and comment, especially share today's segment with anyone in your network who might be actively job seeking, who might be faced with this situation, or might be faced with the reality of, these things going on. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you or anyone or even if you heard about companies doing this, like they're putting offers on the table, maybe they're canceling it, they're rescinding it, or maybe they're putting a halt to the recruitment process, or maybe you're kind of seeing that the recruitment process is kind of slowed down on the job market. Definitely want to hear what's going on, folks. I always want to hear about what you folks are experiencing on the front lines, because that helps me understand what's going on out there as well, right? Make sure you follow me also on all my social channels. I'm also active on, aside from LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, I'm also active on Instagram, TikTok. Also got a podcast on Anchor.fm, which also distributes to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. So all my social links, in any case, are at this page right here, my Linktree page, which is linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter. So make sure you check me out there. For those of you on LinkedIn, make sure you subscribe to my LinkedIn newsletter. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, go down to the featured section, and then right in that section, you should see a link to my LinkedIn newsletter, which I release a new edition every Monday during the afternoon. Appreciate everyone who has already subscribed, but make sure you subscribe. Fumbling on my words. Make sure you subscribe to that newsletter if you have not done so already. All right. So a new edition released every Monday during the afternoon. And today's segment is sponsored by Tech Recruiters 360, so which is my recruitment company. So if you're an organization looking for tech talent anywhere in Canada, or if you're an IT professional who's at the intermediate to senior level in your career, you're looking for your next career move, definitely make sure you reach out to me for more information on how I can personally assist you. Again, whether you're a hiring manager or whether you're a IT professional looking for your next gig, right? Today's segment is also sponsored by DK Global Talent and my course, Applying to Jobs Online 101. If you're a job seeker, you're struggling with applying to jobs, you're not getting any responses. In my course, I teach you through the use of direct messaging how to grab attention from recruiters and hiring managers so you can increase your response rates and therefore increase your chances of getting interviews as a result of your job applications. All right. So for more information about that, check out the link is listed down here. It's dkglobaltalent.com/get responses, dkglobaltalent.com/get responses. So I'm gonna go into speaking about today's topic. But again, if you have any questions, folks, job search related, that's maybe not related to today's topic, feel free to still put in the comments. All right, anything goes, anything job search related, anything recruitment related. Feel free to drop your questions in the comments. Or if you just want to share how things are going for you in your job search, I mean, just feel free to put in the comments, folks. All right, and make sure you network with each other as well, right? Make friends with each other. Great opportunity for that, right? We got my friend Sneha in the house who says, "Hey Dean, hey Sneha, good to have you here. Thanks so much for tuning in." We got Ashwin in the house from YouTube. How's it going, Ashwin? I'm doing fantastic. Hope you're doing great as well, my friend, and thanks so much for tuning in. So today's topic, folks, I'm going to get into today's topic, which is job offers being rescinded. Okay, now I wanted to talk about this topic because I saw LinkedIn, this has been a trending topic on LinkedIn, actually. So I'm going to read you folks an excerpt from this article that was written by Andrew Murfett, who is an editor at LinkedIn News. And some of you have probably seen this, right? You've probably seen this article, but it was the title was "Pulled Job Offers Shock New Hires." Right. So Andrew writes, as layoffs become more commonplace in the increasingly volatile tech startup landscape, another trend is emerging. A growing number of LinkedIn members are reporting that offers they have received to join a new employer are being rescinded. So rescinded means, it's been canceled, it's been taken back, it's been retracted. Right. So basically, I mean, these people have been given an offer. It's like, yeah, here's a job offer. We want to get you on board, blah, blah, blah. And some of these companies have actually taken back the offer, change of plans, change of situation, whatever the case is. It's been rescinded, pulled back, retracted, right? So the article goes on to say Coinbase, for instance, has begun pausing all new hires. So they're actually pausing their hiring, their whole hiring plans, and is also pulling some accepted job offers, right? Going back to this whole thing about offers being rescinded. The article goes on to say the trend to take back job offers exemplifies the turmoil facing the tech sector's market. Venture capital-backed firms are being hit especially hard as investors abandon risky bets and seek immediate returns. So Andrew goes on to further write, firms including fintech unicorns Bolt and Klarna, delivery startups Gorillas and Getir, not sure if I pronounced that right, and social audio app Clubhouse have announced workforce cuts. Tech giants such as Netflix and PayPal are also shedding jobs, while Uber, Lyft, Snap, and Meta have slowed hiring. Now, folks, look, I'm not trying to freak you folks out, all right? The point of this is I'm not here to, put panic out there and stuff like that. But look, the fact is, here's the reality, folks, all right? If you're a job seeker, you're putting yourself out there, you're applying for jobs, you're actively in a recruitment process, you're currently employed, you're considering, interviewing with other companies. Like we got to confront reality as it is, right? That's the whole point of this. Again, this is not to freak you folks out. This is not to help make you panic or anything like that. Certainly not doing this for likes and comments and stuff like that. I just wanna hit you folks with the reality of the situation, right? Like I'd rather you folks are educated about these things and you're prepared versus you just putting yourself out there and then suddenly you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, what's happening here? Like, these offers are being rescinded. Companies are slowing down hiring. So what I wanted to do on today's segment is hit you up with a couple of tips on my perspective on how you can deal with this situation, all right? And by the way, if you're experiencing this, if you're seeing this, make sure you share in the comments what you've been seeing going on, or if you've experienced this yourself, right? And I'm going to get to the questions shortly after. So I just want to talk about, and that was the excerpt from that article, but I just want to share with you, I wrote down 4 tips on how to deal with this situation of companies slowing down their recruitment process, companies rescinding job offers. Now, before I get into those tips, the first thing I want to share with you folks, okay, and it's unfortunately, there's not much you can do to kind of reverse this whole thing about job offers being rescinded, all right, unless there's some, a reasonable case where you are able to actually get the company to actually put the offer back on the table. But if this is happening on a large scale, that to me, folks, it's a sign of like a market correction taking place, all right? And I hate to have to say that, but it is what it is, all right? There's been a lot of positive action in the job market, especially in tech over the past year, right after these entire hiring sprees going on and stuff like that. Nothing good like that lasts forever, folks. All right, that's the reality of it. All right, and I'm not saying that to make you folks freak out or anything, but that is the situation, right? This whole hiring spree thing that's been going on, it's not sustainable. It can't keep going on forever. So it appears that there's a bit of a market correction underway that's currently happening, right? Which is why these major companies are doing this, right? They're rescinding job offers. They're putting a halt on their hiring and recruitment. Now, how can you deal with this as a job seeker? Now, one of the first things, my first tip for you folks, tip number one is, if you're taking notes, you want to write this down. Tip number one is you got to keep tabs on these things, folks, right? Now, this is not just applies for those of you in the tech industry and IT, like whatever your industry is, finance, accounting, retail, e-commerce, construction, and whatever your field, whatever your technical expertise is. Tip number one is you got to keep tabs on what's happening in your industry and in the companies that you're actively pursuing. Okay, if you're actively pursuing a company, you're actively interviewing with a company, you need to be every single day, folks. You need to be researching and analyzing what's happening at this company and what's going on in the market, so you can keep close tabs on whether anything is occurring that might affect your ability to join this company, or maybe if you're currently employed at your current company as well, right? And again, this is not so you can start freaking out and panicking. This is so you can be a more intelligent and educated job seeker or career professional, whatever your field is in. So you got to confront the information out there, folks, right? Like pulling the covers over our head, hiding ourselves under the sheets. Like that's not gonna stop the fact that the sun is gonna rise. There's gonna be clouds. There's gonna be rain. There's gonna be thunderstorms. There's gonna be great weather as well. There's gonna be sunshine. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the sun's going to set, the moon's going to come up, and the cycle goes on and on, right? So you and me, not willing to confront this, covering our eyes, covering our face. Oh, my God, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. Not going to help, folks, right? Not going to help. We got to confront this stuff. So tip number one is you got to keep tabs on what's going on with the companies that you're interviewing with, all right? So if you're interviewing with, I don't care how excited you are about the company you're currently interviewing with, every day, I want you checking the news, what's going on with this company, what's happening with them right now. Have they made any major decisions? Have they made any, or is there any internal restructuring going on? What's happening higher up? What's happening? Like, have they acquired some new companies? Have they shed a company that they've acquired? What's happening with the company? What's happening with the organization? This will help you prepare for anything that might affect their recruitment or hiring process or hiring strategy or whatever you want to call it, right? Now, I'm not saying this is going to give you answers as to whether or not they're going to, continue with their recruitment process or what they're going to do with their job offers and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. I mean, it might not be as clear cut, as that, right? But what it is going to do is it's going to help you keep tabs on, not keep tabs on, but also give you a realistic outlook on setting realistic expectations for yourself, right? Because certain things that you hear about in the news occurring with certain companies, it's going to let you know, okay, clearly this stuff is going on at this company. I should keep my options open, right? If nothing else, like you what you don't want to happen is put all your hopes on this one company, ignore all these other opportunities that might be coming up, only for this company to be one of those organizations that are halting, slowing down their recruitment process, or completely rescinding their job offers. So tip number one, folks, all right, no excuses. Keep tabs on the companies that you are interested in pursuing. Okay, check out the news, research these companies daily. What's happening? What's going on? These day-to-day things, or maybe these quarter by quarter or quarterly things. Maybe it's more so your eyes on kind of the big picture thing. Whatever it is, folks, you got to keep tabs on the companies that you're interested in interviewing with and getting on board with. All right, so that's tip number one. Tip number two is do not drop the ball on everything else, right? This is and I spoke about this in the video clip I posted yesterday, right? And it's so frustrating to see this. A lot of you are dropping the ball on all the other opportunities that you have, and you've built so much great momentum, right? Maybe you've had like 4 or 5 other companies reach out and want to schedule interviews with you, but suddenly you're excited about this company that's put an offer on the table with you, which is great, by the way. I'm not saying I'm not undervaluing that, but it's great if you're excited about that. But the point here is you got to keep the momentum going, folks. Do not drop the ball on everything else you've got going on. Just because you received an offer does not mean that things cannot change last minute. Unfortunately, in my 8 years, almost 9 years in recruitment, I mean, thank goodness I've only seen this once in a blue moon, but it's just one. I hate these situations where sometimes a company puts an offer on the table, the candidate's all ready to get on board, and then suddenly something changes, and the company has to rescind the offer or take back the offer, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, well, we apologize, we can't move forward. We had some internal changes, blah blah blah, whatever it is." I mean, fair enough, but the candidate's in a really bad situation, right? And it's again, I'm very thankful that I've only had to experience that like maybe a handful of times in my career, like in the past, like almost 9 years. And I just hate those situations, right? Because it's terrible. I feel so bad for the candidates, right? But it does happen, folks. But this is exactly why. Just because you got an offer on the table with one organization does not mean you suddenly cancel all of your other interviews, cancel start ignoring all the recruiters that are now suddenly reaching out to you about jobs and stuff like that. Do not drop the ball, folks, until you're working. I said this in my video clip yesterday. Okay, if you missed that clip, okay, if you got a short attention span, it's a 60-second clip. Go to my LinkedIn profile. It's in the featured section after today's live stream. Check it out. Okay, just because you receive an offer does not mean anything. Okay, until you're working for the company, until you're in your seat, whether it's remotely working, on site, hybrid, I don't care what it is. Until you are working for the company, you are doing and completing, executing work for them. Until then, it's not 100% confirmed. Anything can happen until that point, folks, right? Anything can happen, right? Do not drop the ball. Just because you got an offer, do not get overly excited. Do not start celebrating. Like some of you folks have probably seen that clip on YouTube, right? Where I think it was like some marathon or something. It was like a race, right? You got these two, spot number one and spot the person coming in number one and number two. They're like neck and neck. They're almost at the finish line. The person in number one, they haven't reached the finish line yet. They're almost there, but suddenly they decide to celebrate. They start celebrating. They start slowing down. They're like, "Oh yeah, I got this. I'm number one. I'm gonna win this race." But they celebrated a bit too soon. And guess what happened, folks? The person in spot number two, in the number two position, boom, zip past number one. They got past the finish line, and the person in the number one spot celebrated a bit too soon. That's what a lot of you are doing when you're getting these offers in your hand. You're signing the offer, you're submitting the offer, and then suddenly you're thinking, okay, I got it. It's all good. It's in the bag. It's in my pocket. I don't need to worry about anything anymore. I can cancel those other interviews I got. Don't need to communicate with these recruiters. Oh, look, another recruiter inboxed me on LinkedIn. I don't need to worry about responding to that. I might as well let all my recruiter contacts know, hey, I'm off the market. I'm not looking anymore. And all of that stuff. Folks, do not do that. Do not make that mistake. Until you are working for the company, it is not, anything can happen before then. All right. So tip number 2 is do not drop the ball. Keep the job search going. Keep scheduling those interviews. Keep agreeing to those interviews. Folks, worst case scenario, let's say worst case scenario, okay, well, not worst case scenario, but best case scenario is, look, you got the offer from this company, you signed, you submitted, you got your 2 weeks to start. Fast forward 2 weeks, you actually start working for the company. And in the meantime, in those past 2 weeks, you've still agreed to interview with other companies. All you got to do with those other companies, just let them know, hey, look, it was great meeting with you folks, but look, I accepted an offer with another company, and I've started working with them, so I'm not actively interviewing anymore, right? Boom, that's it. I mean, those other companies, I promise you folks, they're interviewing multiple candidates. It's not just you. You're not going to hurt their feelings. They're not going to feel bad or anything like that. At least most reasonable companies are going to know, okay, yeah, I mean, fair enough. This person's probably interviewing with other companies anyway, right? But you got to keep your bases covered. You gotta make sure you're not dropping the ball too soon and not celebrating too early. So again, folks, until you're in the seat working for a company, nothing's official. Nothing's official. If you're getting other interview requests, keep taking on those interview requests, keep interviewing. And when you're at a point when you're actually working for the company, you're doing work, you're executing on whatever it is, that's when you can officially say, okay, yeah, I'm employed, I'm working for a company. I can now turn down all these other interviews, other interview requests, and I can turn down recruiters that are reaching out to me and asking me to consider me for certain positions and stuff like that. So that is tip number 2. Let me see if we have any comments or questions here about it. So we got Ashwin, I see your question. I'm going to get to your question shortly. We got Amadou. Amadou says, Adina. So Amadou, I'm going to get to your question shortly. We got Lasan who says, look, okay, I'm going to get to your question as well, Lashan. We got Lakshmi in the house. Hey, Lakshmi, good to have you here. Lasan says cycle race. Yeah, I think it was a cycle race, or I think it was I can't remember. Anyway, Lasan's referring to that example I shared. So going on to tip number 2, folks. Sorry, that was tip number 2. Now going on to tip number 3. Okay, tip number 3 is, well, actually, I already covered tip number 3, which is do not cancel your other interviews, right? This is what a lot of you are doing, is you're canceling all your other interviews as soon as you get an offer on the table. So again, just to reiterate that, tip number 3, which I already covered apparently, is until you're working for the new company, until you're in the seat working for the new company, do not cancel other interviews. Keep your job search momentum going. Keep talking to recruiters. Keep talking to hiring managers. Keep networking. Keep it going, folks. All right. And those are the main tips I wanted to cover with you folks, right? Looks like I already covered tip number 4 as well, which is nothing is official until you're in the seat working for the company. All right. So just a couple of tips I wanted to share with you. So look, I know on the downside, folks, I know there's nothing much you can do to reverse this whole phenomenon of companies slowing down their recruitment, slowing down their hiring decisions, rescinding offers, taking back and retracting offers. Not much we can do about it, but what you can do is you can be a smarter job seeker. All right. Do not respond to these events emotionally, right? Stay logical. Keep the job search going, even though there are some companies laying people off and canceling job offers. That does not mean, folks, that there are not other companies out there that are in fact actively pursuing candidates, maybe such as yourself, and wanting to hire people, right? And I want to leave you with one final tip in regards to this is you gotta going back to what I was saying about researching and keeping tabs on the organizations you're pursuing. Always look in the market for industries that are high in demand, right? Especially right now. Maybe some industries are scaling back, but there are other industries out there for whatever reason that are growing, that are looking to scale out, right? And add new employees, add new team members. They're experiencing growth. Consider looking for opportunities in those industries as well. Like that is a great area for you to be looking out for opportunities as well, right? So there's some industries that are scaling back, shrinking, contracting, but there's other industries where they're responding to some market changes, market demand, where they're expanding, they're growing. They need more team members. They need people with your skills and your expertise. So ultimately, you got to do your research, folks. Do your research, find out where the opportunities are, and you want to hone in on your job search in those areas, all right? So look, I hope today's segment helps. I'm going to get to the question shortly, but if you have any questions about this topic or anything job search related, make sure you drop your question in the comments right now. I'm going to get to your questions and your comments shortly and add my perspective on things as well, all right? So let me just see here. We got some comments from, I think it was Ashwin had a question. So Ashwin says, I moved to Canada last month, been applying for jobs, getting interview calls, but I'm not able to get through the second round. Okay, so this is a great question. So what Ashwin is basically saying is, look, I've been applying for jobs, I'm getting the initial interviews, but I'm not able to get past the second interview round. So my advice to you here, Ashwin, is look, if you're consistently, and by the way, this is not just for Ashwin, but anyone else out there, folks, if you're finding that you're doing well up to a certain point in your job search, right? Whether it's, getting responses to your application, the first interview, second interview, third interview, final interview. If you're finding that everything's going well up to a certain point, that means at that certain point, wherever it is, in Ashwin's case, it's the second round of interviews. It means something is occurring at that second round that is preventing organizations from wanting to move ahead with you. Now, I'm not sure what that would be in your case, Ashwin. This is where, folks, you gotta take a real introspective look and really look at what's happening at your interviews, right? So maybe, Ashwin, you got to take some notes. Maybe take a notepad and write out your observations of what is happening, good things, bad things. Like, look for patterns. What is happening at your second interviews, at your second round interviews? Is there a certain type of questioning that is being asked where maybe you're not providing a desirable response? Is there similar types of questions that you're being asked during second rounds where you're struggling a bit? Is it certain types of experiences they're asking about during the second round that you're finding it difficult to provide a response that you're happy with, right? So you got to kind of look into your observations here, Ashwin, right? Because if everything's kind of coming to a halt at the second round and you're finding this consistently, right? You've applied for, I don't know, you've had like 4 or 5 interviews, and for each of them, you're making it all the way up to the second round. But after the second round, they're like, okay, we're not interested, or we're not going to move ahead with you in the second round, or maybe they just simply ghost you, whatever it is. Ashwin, you got to investigate what is happening at the second round. Like, you got to investigate it. And that goes for everyone else out there. Maybe it's not the second round. Maybe it's the third round. Maybe it's the final interview. Maybe, everything's going fantastic all the way up to the final interview. And beyond the final interview, you're just not able to get past that final interview. Well, what that means, folks, is something is occurring at that stage that you got to further investigate. So for Ashwin, in his case, it's the second round. So that means, Ashwin, you got to investigate what's happening at the second round that's preventing you from moving forward. Investigate it, make pivots, make the adjustments, and then get back in there. Right? Don't give up, Ashwin, and hope that helps. Right? Let me know in the comments. We got Amadou in the house. So Amadou says, "Hi Dean, I'm currently looking for a junior or intermediate software developer role. I have 3+ years experience and just finished 8 months of full stack web development training at Microverse, an online school for remote developers. Thank you and would appreciate your support in any way." Oh, okay, I see. So Amadou, you're it's not a question. You're just saying that you're on the market for. All right, awesome. Sounds good. So Amadou, I'm not sure if you're based out of here in Toronto, but if you are, definitely send me a direct message. I'm happy to hear more about you. And I'm not recruiting on anything that might be a fit for you right now, but maybe I can help you in the future, assuming you're in the Toronto area or somewhere in Canada. All right. So keep in touch, Amadou. Thanks so much for tuning in and appreciate your comment. And anyone else out there, hey, if you think that Amadou might be a good candidate for you, make sure you reach out to Amadou. All right. So Lasan says, looking for jobs, but so little reply. All right. So Lasan, if you're sending out a whole bunch of you're sending a whole you're maybe you're applying for like, I'm not sure what exactly you're doing, Lasan, but if you're not getting responses, then that means that there's some issue with your approach, right? What are you doing to generate attention from the people that are going to get back to you about interviews, right? Which is mostly recruiters or hiring managers. So if you're applying for jobs, or maybe you're sending out messages, maybe you're trying to network with these people. If you're not getting any responses, it means there is something that needs to be adjusted in your approach. Maybe it's your resume. Maybe it's your LinkedIn profile. Maybe there's not enough detail. Maybe there's not enough relevant details. If it's your messages, maybe your messages are not capturing attention. Maybe you're writing messages that might be generic, or it's not appealing to the recruiter that you're reaching out to. Maybe you're reaching out to the wrong people, right? Sometimes people reach out to me in the IT industry. For example, I'll give you a quick example in regards to myself. Like, I'm an IT recruiter, right? But that does not mean I recruit for every single vertical within IT. Like, there are some areas within IT I very rarely recruit on, right? For example, let's say you were a business analyst. So let's go back to the example of Amadou, right? Amadou's a web developer, I believe. I'm not recruiting on any web developer positions right now, but that is an area I frequently recruit on. So I definitely would want to keep in touch with Amadou in the future if he is based out of here in Canada. But let's say Amadou was, I don't know, like an SAP consultant, right? Now, SAP is a space that I don't recruit on very frequently, right? So if Amadou was to send me a message saying, "Hey, Dean, I'm an SAP consultant," and blah, 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 in his message, and sends me a message, I might not, be in a position to help Amadou because I don't frequently recruit in that space, right? And I might not be the right person for Amadou to get in touch with. So it's the same with you, Lasan, right? Make sure you're targeting people that have high chances of recruiting in your area and your space. So look, there's a whole bunch of things that you might want to consider that might affect your ability to get responses. But I hope those few ideas helped. And all you got to do, Lasan, is investigate what your approach is. Maybe if there's any adjustments you can make those adjustments, implement it, and take it back, put yourself back out there as well. Whatever you do, however, do not give up. Do not give up, folks. Keep going on, keep moving forward. And it comes down to analyzing what's happening with your approach right now, making adjustments, and then putting those adjustments into action. Right? It's about taking action, folks. Take action, make adjustments, make pivots, and then get back out there and keep taking more action. Right? I think that was pretty much all the questions. I think Lasan had another. So Lasan said, "Is taking a job offer to fill in for maternity or paternity leave a risk?" Well, I mean, Lasan, depends on what your idea of a risk is, right? Like, I mean, if you're covering someone for someone who's on maternity or paternity leave, I'm guessing it might be a contract position, or maybe it's just a temporary full-time position. Yeah, I mean, if it might be a risk in the sense of, okay, you want something long term, and maybe you're currently if you're currently employed and you're leaving your job to fill in for a maternity or paternity leave position. Yeah, I would say in that case it might be a risk, because there's no chance that you're gonna be in this. They're going to renew your contract, or want to keep you on after the person returns from their maternity or paternity leave. So I mean, it depends, right? It depends on the situation, depends on the context. So Ankit says, is recruiting for business analysts within your purview? Not at the moment, Ankit, but definitely the business analysis is definitely an area that I recruit on fairly frequently. So Ankit, if you're based out of the Toronto area or anywhere in Canada, definitely make sure you send me a direct message with an introduction. Let me know a bit more about yourself and your background. Even if I can't help you now, I mean, again, business analysis, I mean, that's definitely an area that I recruit on fairly frequently. So definitely let's keep in touch, all right? So thanks for your comment, Ankit, and let's stay in touch. Now, looks like that's all for the questions, folks. So look, appreciate everyone tuning in. Hope everyone got value out of today's segment. Make sure you like and share, and make sure you share this segment with anyone in your network who might benefit from today's topic. Look, folks, I know there's a lot of negativity out there, right? You're hearing about companies scaling back on their recruitment, companies, again, rescinding offers, canceling offers, and not moving ahead with their recruitment process, scaling back, contracting, retracting, and all that stuff. But look, although that stuff is happening out there, that does not mean that you should put a halt on your job search, right? I mean, if you're currently employed, maybe you want to consider only moving ahead if you know it, if it's a guaranteed 100% case that the company that you want to get into is gonna stay true to their word, and want to bring you on board. But look, if you're actively job seeking, stay positive, folks. Stay positive. Keep taking action. There's companies out there looking for you. Again, just like I said before, maybe there's some industries that are kind of contracting and retracting right now, but there's other industries out there, folks, that are still high in demand. And in those industries, they might be in need of someone with your skills, your expertise. So you got to keep putting yourself out there, make adjustments, make pivots, and keep taking action, folks. All right. And make sure you tune in every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone. I'm right here, folks, to help you folks out with job search tips, advice, and strategies. Make sure you follow me on all my social channels. Again, I'm also active on, aside from LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, I'm also active on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Where else? Anyway, all my social links are over here. So make sure you check out this page at linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter, linktr.ee/DK Tech Recruiter for more regular. I post stuff almost every day on all my social channels. So you're guaranteed to get some value out of following me and being connected with me and staying close to me. All right. Hey, everyone, have a fantastic week ahead. Stay positive. Keep taking action. And I'll see you again next week, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time zone, right here, folks. Have a fantastic week and see you around soon.